Good morning from Paris. We are at UPEC. My name is Jadrnickova. I am a research officer from Palacký University in the Czech Republic. And my two guests today are Matthias Beekmann and Sander Bosch. Welcome.
Thank you.
Matthias is a research director at National Center for Scientific Research from UPEC, and Sander works as an open science coordinator at Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam. We are here today to discuss or to talk about research and support to research in particular. Today, within the global context, there is a lot of talk about what kind of role research will play at the European policy level, but also with the Trump administration freezing funds for top US universities, there is a lot of uncertainty. We are having this debate in Aurora, and we would like to zoom in a little bit on the activities that we have been carrying out within Aurora in relation to research support. For the last 3 years, our activities were funded through the Horizon 2020 project called Aurora Research and Innovation for Societal Impact, for short, Aurora R&I. And we have successfully managed to connect our grants offices, but also HR personnel, our technology transfer offices, and quite complex agendas such as citizen science or open science. Now, Sander, Aurora continues to build on its open science activities, and I was wondering if you could tell us what was the starting point and where we are now.
Yeah, thank you, Marie. So open science is a very broad concept, very broad umbrella, and actually over the past, say, 10 years, it's been broadened from focus on open access to publications to also sharing data. Now we're moving towards software, and actually we're broadening the horizon of why we do this also towards society. And that is actually where the entire open science agenda fits so well with Aurora. You mentioned this project that we've been working on had societal impact as a central central component of why we did this. And open science to me is a means to an end, right? We don't want transparency for transparency. We want it to connect better to society. And for the past few years, we've been working together within the Aurora, with our Aurora partners, to think about what needs to happen to bring open science, to make that the norm, and to connect to society. And we came up with a few areas of action. So first, we need infrastructure. We need to make it possible for our researchers, students, staff to work transparently. We need support and training. So we need to give them the skills and make sure that they can work transparently. Then community building is very important, engagement. So there are quite a few people, hotspots within all of our universities, where people come together really enthusiastic and want to learn from each other, they want to be inspired. And then the last two are really crucial as well. Those are recognition and rewards, and policy. We cannot reasonably expect anyone to change their ways, because this requires a mindset change, if we do not recognize and reward them for the effort that takes. So in the past years, we've been working on a shared training platform. We've been working on a monitor for assessment, which we're continuing right now. And we've been building communities, so open science communities, and trying to connect them between the Aurora universities.
Thank you, Sander. That's a very complex endeavor that you are pursuing here. So the focus on the infrastructure, the tools for open science, but also quite a heavy focus on building personal capacities and communities.
Yes.
Matthias, you are also creating a community. Could you describe what is it that you are pursuing? What kind of community are you trying to create or build up?
Yeah, thank you, Marie. Yeah, so I think in the first and last years of Aurora, the alliance, which is already has made some good way. We had large success in creating communities among our universities at the governance level, at the research, and at the administrative level, and among the students. And now what the new aim is to create really a community about academic researchers and teachers, and in particular to make the teachers, the researchers work together. We launched a call for incentive research projects, and with the aim of making them work together among small projects. We have not the aim to have finalized research here, but we want small projects with new ideas making people work together. In addition to that, we created a board to evaluate these projects. So this is the Aurora Research Council, and each member of our 9 universities sent members to that board in order to evaluate these projects. So that is very important to have really also an expertise on that level. And then we had the question, how can the Aurora researchers, how can they find colleagues among other universities? And finally that works, and that works really also because we have these, for example, the open science tools. People can find publication from colleagues. Aurora had made mapping of infrastructures, of scientific infrastructures in the former Research and Innovation Project. And finally, these first steps of Aurora turned out to be extremely helpful for our present phase.
Thank you. This sounds really successfully carried out activities, but I think you may have encountered some challenges, Sander. You were talking about a change that requires mindset change, or the environment, the cultural institution environment. Can you say something about the challenges that you encountered?
Yes, absolutely. So indeed, open science, or to work more transparently, you need to rethink what academia is, how you do your research. And that requires, I'd say a transformational change at almost all levels of all of our universities. So that means that students need to be taught new skills. That requires something from our teachers. We need researchers to think about sharing their results and think about transparency throughout the research process. But we also need administrative staff to support that properly, because this requires something. Open metadata, open data, open software requires very specific expertise. And then our university leadership, of course, also needs to support that and create the policies to embed that into the minds. So yes, this is a long game. It requires quite a bit from all of these layers. And what we've noticed is that the national context, for example, is really crucial. So if open science is not on the agenda at a national level, it's very difficult for single universities to change the system. This is what you call a collective action problem. We need to work, we need to move towards open science, all or none. So that is sometimes a challenge. What we've seen is that, for example, we can really help each other within the Aurora network by pointing out some of the beautiful things that have happened at some universities but not others. So to give an example, at VU we don't have a policy for open education. This is something that is really high on my wish list, but we don't have it yet. But some of our Aurora partners do have that. So by just sharing what we have and what is in place at our different institutions, we can really help each other overcome those barriers. But yes, this is a long game.
It's not the same playing field, so to say, right? You have to cope with different institutional realities and different national regulations and policies. Matthias, do you recognize some of these challenges, or how is it in the researchers' world, so to say?
Yeah. So first of all, we had a success that we even did not anticipate, because we had a lot of responses to this call. So it was 25 to 30 groups for 2 years, proposals, sorry, and that corresponds to up to 100 research groups that responded. So that's a good sign for Aurora. That's a good sign for the dedication of the researchers to Aurora, and that also probably is also that the university leadership pushes them, and that the people think that it's a good thing to invest into Aurora work. So, but the problem that we face then with all these proposals, that we have only limited funding, and so we can only support part of the very good projects, and this might create some frustration among the researchers that we cannot support. And each project is only supported with a small amount of money. So we try among the universities to resolve that problem, to give more support to this call. But this is not so easy, because it needs some extra money.
Of course, limited funding for research in European universities alliances has always been an issue, since the alliances are primarily focused on educational activities, innovative pedagogies. So there is still a silo, which is also reflected in the different funding schemes. But it seems that there is a need to align more and more education with research. How difficult, Matthias, is it to connect educators and scientists? And are you trying to bring these groups together in Aurora?
Yeah, we do try this, because the starting point is that research and teaching needs to go together. This is one of the foundations of university, and because both can really give positive impulses to each other. So specifically in Aurora, we have these 5 Aurora hubs, which are thematic focal points, meant to bring research and teaching together. So I can mention these 5 hubs. They are about sustainability and climate change, digital society and global citizenship. The third one about health and well-being. The fourth one of cultural diversity and identity, and the fifth one about social entrepreneurships. And the thematic choices are really also translate the Aurora values. They show that the Aurora activities, they are on burning society problems, and Aurora wants to contribute to give to solve part of these problems, or at least to give some ways to do that. Okay, so these hubs are the receptors of the Aurora research. So we ask the PIs of the projects we support, what can you do? How can you integrate into these hubs? What can you bring? How can your research improve or fertilize these hubs? And also, how can the hubs? What do you think? How can the hubs give good conditions for your research to be done? And in future, we want even to go further in connecting teaching and research. We really would like to integrate directly a teaching component into the research call, so that we ideally would have projects dealing with both at the same time.
This is a great approach, I think. Sander, how connected are the agendas of open science and open educational resources? So still I am pointing at these 2 fields of research and education, but with the focus on open science. Are they connected enough?
To my mind, no, they're not connected enough. For me, the principles underlying open science, they relate very well to the Aurora values of science as a collective benefit, and science for equity, diversity, inclusion of different groups within the world. But right now, what we see is that the governance of research and the governance of education are more or less silos, which is kind of strange because you mentioned in your question teachers and researchers. Well, most teachers are also researchers at a university, and most researchers also teach. So that means that at the layer of researchers and educators, there's much of a problem. As long as these people have the open science principles at heart, they will do fantastic work. But if the governance is in silos, it's quite difficult still to bridge that. And that's why I think this an educational component to this call is a fantastic idea, to basically break those silos or at least connect them. That is hugely beneficial because, well, these are two sides of the same coin.
Thank you, Sander. Besides open science principles, a lot of attention in Aurora is paid to the current reform on research assessment known as COARA or the ARA agreement. Could you explain a little bit what COARA stands for and how it is related to open science?
Yeah, so actually as a more or less separated as a movement from the movement towards open science and transparency is a general discontent with the way we assess research. So what happens a lot still in all of our institutions is that people are promoted on the basis of their research outputs and specifically research publications, whereas there's so much more diversity in activities that people employ as researchers, educators. So for example, fantastic teachers don't really have the same opportunities if they do not also have the fantastic research publications, which is, of course, that's a pity. You have one hoop to go through, whereas there are 15 or 100 different things that you can do as an academic. So I'm really glad that this is a global concern now. It's not only at our separate Aurora universities, but this is I think it's almost 450 institutions across the world that have signed this coalition for advancing research assessment. Again, this is a collective action problem. We can only do this if we work together. So I'm really happy that within Aurora we try to advance research assessment. Again, this is highly subjective to the national context, because of course we are in a complex network of research funders as well. If we change too far ahead, our research funders might, there's a complex interaction there. But it's, as I said, one of the requirements for open science, to my mind, is changing research assessment and making it more broad. So these go hand in hand, and they need to go together. So I'm really happy that within our current activities, advancing research assessment is just as much on the agenda as open science is.
And staying with you on that point, Matthias, could you say a little bit what are the actual concrete activities that we are carrying out in the Aurora 2030 program? Because there is a lot of attention paid to the COARA and to the new reform on research assessment.
Yeah, indeed, as you say, that there's a lot of attention within Aurora. Right now, the majority of Aurora universities signed the protocol or signed the coalition paper, and all of them tries to implement what is saying. Yeah, and so we are at the first step. We did interviews with all university representatives. It could have been vice rectors of research, for example, and that they tell us the current practices and also the future plans for implementation of COARA. The focus that we put is on recruitment and evaluation of academic personnel. This is a key point in the evaluation, and really the aim is that we have more qualitative criteria, because beyond the caricative. Yeah, but what you could say, you just count the publication with the impact factors. But well, I think nobody did that entirely. But we really want to go to more qualitative criteria, and also, yeah, then that helps also to take into account the investment for open science, for society-related question, for science mediation, for going even into citizen science, and all these criteria need to be included in researchers' evaluation in order to make that happen. That's really key. And so if you have this qualitative criteria, it becomes more difficult work to evaluate, and the idea is that this can be done only by peers. And so one concrete idea is that within Aurora we form different persons that would be available to be external members of evaluation boards in partner universities. So that is a really concrete first step, that we share the practices within Aurora, and we get some internationalization also into this part of our university life.
Okay, thank you so much for today's talk. I think we are ending on a very positive note with a lot of energy and interest on research assessment, but also research community building. I hope that we are putting an effort into the fact that research remains to be at the heart of European policy level, creating an ambitious European educational and research area, because this is what we need right now. And for those of you who have listened to us, I hope that you can become a part of the mindset change that we are in need now, a part of this transformative wave, and I invite you to get in touch with your open science coordinator or your Aurora local office at your university and help us become stronger. Thank you, and have a very good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. Thank you, Sander.